Welcome, fans and friends, to a Friday edition of Good Morning Comrade. Friday solo edition. Again, the Tuesday show that goes live on WHIV 102.3, WHIV.org, low power FM in New Orleans. Will be coming to you on Tuesday. That will be, again, released as a podcast on around 6 a.m. that morning. And go live on the radio station at 8. This is Robert, and by myself for the solo shot of the Good Morning Comrade podcast. I hope everybody had a fun debate night last night. Enjoyed watching the debates. We attempted to live stream them on Twitch. It was a total shit show. Pretty much unlistenable, so hopefully we'll do better tonight. Tonight being Thursday, you're listening to this on Friday because that's when I was able to edit it, like you even care. Debates were goofy. We're going to probably have a full show with the rest of the gang just talking about the debates coming up. I don't really want to get into it here because I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. I've got some things to talk about today, though, and I look at the podcast numbers of when you all are actually downloading and listening, and you probably listen to this on drive time because it looks like early in the morning and then late afternoon is when everybody's listening. So I hate to bum everybody out. I hate to be the bummer of your commute. But there's some like seriously scary stuff that I feel is not getting pretty much any attention. And not even the mainstream news, but even the alternative news. If you go to, LeftTube and BreadTube, the leftist channels on YouTube, people like, I listen to the Young Turks, they haven't mentioned this and how huge of a deal it is. But I guess I will. I mean, obviously I will. I'm sitting behind the mic. I want to talk about and you might not have heard of this, the Republican State House walkout staged by Republicans in Oregon over the climate change bill. So I'm going to read to you, this is from ABC News the other day. A group of Republican state senators in Oregon remain in hiding after walking out of the state capitol over refusing to vote on a climate change bill. 11 Republicans refused to show up to work on Thursday and went to hiding to protest HB 2020, a bill that establishes a carbon cap in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Industries that emit carbon dioxide, power plants, manufacturers, etc., would have to buy an allowance for each metric ton emitted, therefore reducing the incentive to produce carbon dioxide in the first place. Now, all that, the end with talking about the bill, I just want to give you a little bit of what the bill was about. That's really not the important part. The important part is these senators interrupted quorum. And if you don't know what quorum is, you're not into politics. You're not a nerd like I am, and you're into parliamentary politics. What quorum is it's saying that in any voting situation, this could be voting for what's for dinner all the way to, House of Representatives and the Senate. If you don't have enough people to vote, then the bylaws say that we can't take a vote on whatever we're voting on, whatever bill or law we're voting on, because in our bylaws say that we must have this many people. So the Republicans know this, and in Oregon, and so to interrupt quorum, they just walked out. And right now, this is like something out of a weird post-apocalyptic movie. Like it's the beginning of Mad Max or something. These Republican politicians in the state house, they are in hiding. Literally, no one knows where they are. There's been rumors that some are in California, others are in the woods in Idaho. Like, this is no joke. Like, seriously. So the Oregon State Police has been sent to go find these Republicans like they're common criminals and hunt them down and make them come back to their job. And here's the part that's super scary. Like, you're like, a lot of people are like, this is, Republicans at it again, blah, blah, blah. No, this is straight up fascist. This is how this works. So what they're sending, and they've done this before. They've done this before on another bill that they disagreed with and just walked out. What this is stating is we only like representative democracy. And if you haven't noticed this from the Republican Party yet, you're naive and you're ridiculous. But we only like representative democracy when it's in our favor. When it's not in our favor, we'll not only slow walk, we'll not only rig the game by gerrymandering and get to pick our voters, but we will just straight up not participate at all. So by doing that, they've declared themselves outside of not only our rules of law, outside of our government. They're literally traitors to representative democracy, the things that the Republican Party supposedly stands for, and they're conservative and they stand for all things American. They stand for the flag and kneel for the cross, but they can't show up to do their jobs that they were elected to do. And here is the super sick part about it. Now, see, this is what doesn't surprise me at all. Here's what's not surprising. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I knew this. A lot of people know this. This is in their DNA. A lot of people know that these authoritarian Republicans are just fascists in sheep's clothing, and they will do anything to either not make sure that your agenda passes for the people, or they'll do anything to make sure their agenda passes. This is all par for the course. It does not surprise me at all. The reaction from the Democrats, who are the majority in the Oregon State House, is what is surprising and terrifying. I don't know. Instead of kicking, honestly, okay, here's where I draw a thing. I don't know what they could do parliamentary-wise to prevent, if they have a rule for quorum, I guess they have to follow it. But the way they're not kicking and screaming, the way they're not saying we should not only strip them by whatever means necessary of their positions as legislators, they should be arrested. They're not doing the will of the people they were elected to serve. They are in the House right now, in the State House of Oregon, throwing up their hands and begging them to come back. They're saying, well, okay, we won't vote on the climate change bill, and you guys won, so please come back. And, we've got a lot of work. We've got a lot of business to do. I'm paraphrasing, but this is pretty much a direct quote. We've got a lot of business. We've got like 100 bills that we've got to go through. So if you guys could, if it's not too much trouble, like just come on back to work. Nah, fuck that. Fuck all that. See, this is the problem with the Democratic Party. They're paid to lose, and they're born losers. Instead of having some kind of spine says, okay, this is how y'all want to play it. We're going to come up with something. I don't know yet, but we're going to strip you of all your power, and we're going to make sure you're arrested. I mean, Ronald Reagan, this is kind of a different thing, but it's a parallel. Ronald Reagan deemed, because when air traffic controllers struck in the 80s, they deemed it a wildcat illegal strike because they were necessary to the country. He said any striking air worker for the air traffic control, you immediately lose your job and you're going to be arrested. Like that was the deal. And the Republicans have no problem throwing their weight around, where the Democrats are so soft and they're so pliable and they'll just go along with anything. So, on top of all of this, these senators and these Republican, I think it's the State House. They senators? No, it's just the State House. Sorry. But these Republicans in Oregon, they're being protected by 3%er militiamen to keep the this is so ridiculous to even say. I feel like if you've ever played the video game Fallout, I feel like I'm Three Dog recording from the wasteland. I'm recording from the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Maybe that's what I will be doing if I make it to where shit hits the fan. Like, this is insane. So, rewind. They're being guarded by 3%er militiamen against the state police, so the state police don't drag them back to Oregon to make them do the job. And the state police is just like, well, I guess we don't want to win no threepers. And if you don't know what a 3%er is, it's one of these other crypto fascist armed militia organizations who their whole claim to fame, their whole thing is that there was only 3% of people who participated in the American Revolution. And they're going to be the new 3% that fight in the new American Revolution. These people are fucking serious. These people are not a joke. They're armed and they're looking to kill us. And I don't want to be a harbinger of fear. And when I say us, I'm talking about if there's any law enforcement or military listening to this, I'm talking about you. They're ready to go to war with you. They're ready to try to kill you on American soil. They are the ones stopping the state police from doing their job of making these Republicans do their job. So when you are in these, let me talk directly to you, police guys, because I was a police guy. I worked in a jail. I passed the post test. I had a star and a gun and a badge. Let me talk directly to you. These corner boys on the corner selling drugs, they don't want it with you. They just want to, they just want to conduct business. The guy that you stop on a traffic stop that you're so terrified of, the Philando Castiles of the world with their babies in the back, and you feel it's appropriate to light them up. They don't want it with you. They're not flying that flag. These 3%ers, these other militias that I'm trying to think of, Patriot Prayers. What others? Patriot Prayer. There's so many. Go on the Southern Poverty Law Center website. You'll see they've got the whole lineup. It's like these cute creative names. It's like something out of the movie The Warriors. But those are the guys who are actively arming to fight you and to kill you. So that leaves you with two scenarios. One, you either really need to learn what the score is and know that who your real enemies are out there and who's really trying to do you harm. Or two, which this is more preferable, you need to quit. You need to turn that stuff in. And I understand military guys, you got a contract. Your EAS is out, so far out, and you got kids to feed, and you got this and that. And military guys, I get you, man. But there's ways you can I even hate to say the word, it's been twisted, so I resist. It doesn't mean anything anymore. There's ways you can be subversive and be in the military. I don't want you to go to prison for no reason. Just one day. Like, try to finish out your contract. Try to make it to your EAS in peace. I get you, brother. I get you, sister. I understand. Now, if it comes down to it, and they want you to do something crazy, like, I don't know, run a concentration camp with undocumented immigrants in it, maybe then you should invest in some jail time. Like, that's personally something I would do, but I can't make others the people's decision for them. But you have to be able to look your children, look your partner, look your grandchildren in the eye and say, like, hey, remember when y'all ran them concentration camps? I'm getting kind of off topic, but yeah. Remember when you kind of ran those concentration camps? What did you do, Grandpa? What did you do, Dad? And you want to be able to say, yeah, I went to prison like a man because I refused. I went to prison like a woman because I refused to take part in that. You might have to do a little time. Cops, other hand. Now, police force, you can just quit. It's not that hard. It took me 10 minutes to write a letter of resignation, another 10 to drive to the station, and another 5 to dump all that stuff on HR's desk and walk out. You can quit. There's other jobs out there. You're not even getting paid. Like, I know what your salary is. It's not that much. You can get another job. And I know I don't have kids. I probably don't have the bills y'all have, but dude, there's other things to be gained by that. There's self-respect. Back to the topic of these Oregon goofballs though, and what you should be doing. I guess if you're just an average working stiff like I am, what should you think? First, you should be afraid. Because you're already seeing now that, if you're leftist, you lean left, Democrat, whatever, you already see when these people, when the Republican Party and their fascist allies, when they decide to circumvent democracy, you already see the Democratic Party's not going to help you. They're not going to do what needs to be done to make sure this country runs like it's supposed to. So, if you can't trust them to go to either take care of state house business there or drag these politicians back to work to vote on this it's a climate change bill. I mean, this is the most important thing in our time. Like, if we don't fundamentally change our whole way of life, I'm 37. I could see the end of the world. It's possible. It's completely possible. If you have anybody in your 20s, you're for sure going to see the end of the world if we don't change right now. So if the Democratic Party in Oregon, they have the majority of the votes, they have of the population centers, they have the most people who agree with them. If they can't do anything about this, what do you think is going to happen when one of these threepers when the state police do show up and one of these 3%ers take a shot at one of them? I can tell you what's going to happen. Same thing that happened at that wildlife preserve with the Bundys. The government's going to back off and not do anything. Again, this is becoming like a recurring theme with the show. You need to develop self-reliance. Your state and local government is not going to save you. You need to be able to do basic disaster preparedness, be able to be, without food or water for a month, to be able to provide it for yourself. And if you so choose, if you feel that it's right for you, you need to learn at least firearm safety. And if not, know how to shoot, know how to defend yourself and your family. Again, I will state again, it's not right for everybody. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. I'd rather have people who responsibly understand that firearms are not for them and they don't want to be around firearms than people who are very cavalier about, not respecting firearms and firearm safety. But you need to make that decision for yourself and your family, because you can already see these people are not playing with you. They are doing what they want to do. In Georgia right now, there's legislation that has been passed that churches are now going to be able to have their own police force. I'm sorry, what? How the fuck does that work? I mean, are they going to be police auxiliary? Are they going to pass the post test, which is the peace officer standardized testing? Like, what? Like, and they're only going to be their only designation is going to be for that church? Okay. Well, that sounds like Sharia law. Like, that sounds like the thing that the Republican Party is so afraid of from Muslims. Like, imagine if a mosque in your community said, you know what, we're going to have our own police force to enforce laws. Well, that's religious law. Like, that's crazy. So you understand the objection that the Republican Party and the people who follow this weird death cult, because that's what it is. The right is a death cult. They either want to kill the earth or they want to kill you. They follow this weird death cult. And when they put out these arguments of we don't want this, we don't want that, what they mean is we don't want this and that for other people. We definitely want it for ourselves. That's projection. We want overwhelming force. We want religious persecution. We want religious law to be enforced in America. We just don't want, if your religion's different than ours, we don't want that enforced. That's what they're saying. This kind of stuff should be terrifying to any of us. Again, and all you can do for yourself, your family, your community, your comrades, what you need to be doing. Education. You need to be talking about these things in your community. Basic disaster prep, basic firearms training. Again, because these people are not, they're not playing around. Like they're really they're either preparing to take over the government or they're preparing to fight the government. However way it goes, they're going to be ready. So you need to be talking to your comrades about these issues so you can be ready. I'll leave y'all with some happy news that's caked on top of some terrible news. So as I've briefly touched on, we have concentration camps again in this country. It's nothing new to us. It's what we do when we need to, when capitalism is failing and we need to make a boogeyman out of the other. It's just a fun little game we play. We just run through the same cycles of history over and over again in this country. Good news. A little bit of nugget of good news. Wayfair, the company. You've seen the ads, buy stuff online. It's kind of like an Amazon meets IKEA love child. I don't know. I think my partner's bought some home decor stuff from them, which cool, whatever. All right. It's just one more thing to waste your money on. But their employees found out that they had a contract with ICE, with, it wouldn't be Border Patrol, but yeah, let's just say ICE. To sell furniture pieces to those said concentration camps. Now, the workers went to their bosses about this. Say, hey man, we don't really like how it's going down. We don't really want to be a part of I don't know, a whole concentration camp where people are dying type thing. I know it's crazy, but some of us that's not really why we come to work. Bosses said, go fuck off. Okay. 500 of them walked off the job. Amazing. I cannot give that more props. It's such an intersection of things that are going to save this country. One, worker solidarity. Workers didn't like something about their workplace. They tried to change it. They were roadblocked and they took their labor away. Fantastic. That's how we win in this country as a labor movement. That's how we will get things done, period, is through solidarity, and especially worker solidarity. I don't think they had a union. I don't know for sure. I'm going to guess they don't have a union and they just did this organically. Fantastic. Walk off the job. And it makes Wayfair look like shit. It makes them look awful. Great. Their Twitter, right now I checked it, it's blowing up. It's just fuck you. We hate you. Blah, 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 blah. That's what needs to happen. They need to be publicly shamed. Second thing. No comfort for anybody. No comfort for anybody or anything that supports these concentration camps where people are dying. People are dying in them. No. So if you know of a company, if you work at a company that gives comfort and support to these things, follow Wayfair's example. As a consumer, I know voting with our dollars is not a real thing, but it is kind of a real thing if enough of us make a big stink about it. And we say, we're not going to give our money to somebody who supports kiddie concentration camps where people don't have soap and toothpaste and they're dying. And the soap and toothpaste thing, that's like a meme that's getting thrown out there. And it is terrible. It is awful. But it almost implies that this thing could be made better if people had soap and toothpaste. No, this thing could be made better if people tore those structures apart, those fences and those buildings, tore them apart brick by brick and cut them open fence by fence. That's the only thing that's going to help. No, I don't care about soap and toothpaste. I care about These people should not be in those places, period. And I read on social media and a lot of pushback from my leftist friends of Obama did the same thing. Obama had people in detention camps and stuff. Yes, 100% true. That's what liberalism gets you. That's why we can't, the status quo of third way Democrats and liberals, that's got to go to the dustbin of history. 100% correct, leftist friends. Keep posting on that. But don't get mad at anybody. You are allowed to be angry now. Wherever you got on the angry righteous train is the appropriate stop for you. You are right on time, and I don't want to shame you because you weren't involved in politics, or maybe you were an Obama fan and Obama could do nothing wrong, and now you're wiping the scales from your eyes, and now you're on board. I love you, man. I'll take it. Come on board. Do not shame those people. So, to reiterate, no aid and comfort for anyone who supports these camps, whether it be commercial, whether it be the people who work there, I don't care what your job is. I don't care if you're an admin clerk there, all the way to the guy actually guarding the damn thing. No aid and comfort for any of y'all. And again, if you're working for Department of Homeland Security, you're working for ICE, these are not military positions to where like you have dereliction of duty, you're outside of the Constitution, you're subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. These are different things. These are jobs. This is not your identity. And I know there's good people out there who are cops and people who are ICE agents and this, and that even like, and I hope that this hits you. I hope this gets to you because you're probably around a bunch of psychopaths and you're probably questioning your decisions every day. And you're probably wondering, how the fuck did I even get here? What the fuck on my life path got me from here to now concentration camp guard to now fascist? Bruh, sis, you can quit. You can quit this shit today. You can walk right in there. Again, 10 minutes to do a resignation letter, 5 minutes to dump your stuff on HR's desk. Dump all that on HR's desk and walk out of there proud. Walk out of there with a clean conscience and walk out of there being able to sleep at night and to be able to tell your children when all this is over and we win and we turn this into workers' paradise that you did the right thing at the right time. Well, that's where I'm going to end it for a little quick shot of Good Morning Comrade. Again, contact a Good Morning Comrade. Support the Patreon. Catch us on Twitch every now and then. Give us a rating on iTunes. Write a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you Monday and then Tuesday with the live show.